Welcome to It's Been How Long? The podcast about Cherry Hill High School East students from the late 1970s and early 80s. This is Kara Siegel. I'd like to welcome in Scott Goldberg to the It's Been How Long podcast studio this evening. Hey, Scott, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. It's an honor.
I'm glad you feel that way. I appreciate you answering my call for people to sit in the chair. So how I usually start these out is, well, here we are, 44, almost 44 years since we graduated. And so what are you up to these days?
The 44-year thing has got me a little freaked out. I have to be honest with you. It's interesting, maybe not so interesting to me. I was visiting one of our other classmates, a guy named Steve Kramer, who I've stayed in touch with since then. I don't know if you knew him. 2 weekends ago, out in California, he's out there for the winter, and we're in a town called Del Mar, running through the town, like from one place to another, and we're like running through traffic. And I turned around and looked at him. I said, "Can you believe we're 62 years old?" And like I can remember being 14 years old, running around streets with him, and it's mind blowing. But here we are, Kara.
Yeah, here we are. Here we are.
What I've been doing. I got out of high school, went to college, went to law school, got married from a girl I met in college, and she's in the next room now. We had 4 kids, just had a grandkid.
Mazel tov.
Thank you. That's the short version. There's a much longer version, but maybe we'll get into it.
Yeah. So where actually are you?
I live in Haddonfield.
Okay, you didn't wander far.
No, I'm about 4 miles from where I grew up. I grew up in Charleston Riding.
Okay. So, well, that's great. So how do you enjoy spending your time? Are you a runner? Is that what I was hearing?
I mean, we were literally just like running in between cars.
Okay.
I used to be a runner. I did a few marathons back in my younger days, but the joints just aren't holding up. In fact, I tried pickleball last year.
Awesome.
I'm sure many of your listeners will appreciate this. In the first 5 minutes of playing pickleball, the first time I took a step to the left and snapped my Achilles tendon.
Oh,
was getting surgery within a week, so there'll be no more pickleball for.
Oh goodness. But Aaron Rodgers is coming back to the NFL. There's no reason you can't come back to the pickleball court.
There's got to be another hobby. It was actually my wife's idea. Our last kid went to college, and she said we got to find a hobby for the two of us to do, and that was our hobby for 5 minutes, and she stuck giving me sponge baths for 3 months. So.
Oh dear. Not to hear that.
I'm looking forward to playing any more pickleball.
Okay.
All good though.
But so what else do you enjoy doing in your off time?
Let's see. So, been a political junkie actually since I got out of college, and so that's kind of my hobby in life. I was actually, when I got out of law school, joined the local Democratic club and ran for office, and was what's called a freeholder. If anybody remembers what they used to be, they don't even have them anymore. They're now called county commissioners. So I did that for a couple terms, and then got into some other things politically. So that's my, it's not my joy, but I kind of love the sort of the rough and tumble of all that. So that's, if you ask me what my hobby is, I have a lot of sports and athletics and stuff like that. And for my kids, following all their stuff until 2 years ago, when the last one graduated high school. That's when that sort of ended for everybody. It ends, but that's, I'm sort of a political junkie and will always be.
Have you had a chance to do any traveling or around or?
We are big my wife's mother was a travel agent, so.
Oh, okay.
And she, that's been instilled in our relationship, and we've actually just celebrated our 35th wedding anniversary.
Wonderful.
In Italy.
And lovely.
And retrace the steps of our honeymoon. We actually stayed in the same hotel that we stayed in 35 years before. And the pool boy was now the pool man, same guy from 35 years before, the maitre d', same guy. It was really crazy.
That's
we're
wild.
all old and white hair, but same people. It's
What city were you in?
Positano.
Oh, Positano. Okay.
Positano, Italy. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we stayed in, it was called the San Pietro was the name of the hotel. And you ever been?
I went to Florence last year for the first time for a few
Great,
days. Yeah.
great, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We were there years ago, but yeah. So we travel all the time. We actually we're down in Miami. Recently, our son is down in college at Tulane, so
Oh, nice.
New Orleans is a big, it's a
Yeah.
big place for us to go to now. You ever been?
Again, just recently for the first time went to New Orleans, and in fact, I cooked chicken etouffee for dinner tonight. So, and from a
Nice.
recipe that I went to a cooking class in New
Down there?
Orleans.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
How'd it come out?
Good. Really good.
Yeah, no, we've had that a few times, and we love it. We're going down. Actually, 2 months from now, we're going down for Jazz Fest.
Oh, lovely, lovely. That's
That's the
wonderful.
perfect thing. If you're a fan of music,
Oh
it's
yeah. Well,
yeah.
anytime there you can, find good music. We listen to a lot, so it's great.
So
That's
my
great.
one of my great memories from growing up was my three of my real good friends from our class, Steve Kramer, a guy named Dave Ladd. I don't know if you know Dave, and Gary Kennick, all
Okay.
went all went to see the Rolling Stones at JFK with Journey and Thorogood.
Oh wow.
It was
What a
actually
concert.
right after we got out of college. It was in the fall of '80. It was the same year we graduated, and we all went together and saw that because the Rolling Stones were like real important to us. The Rolling Stones will be at Jazz Fest this year,
Oh wow.
so they will be a little older,
Yeah.
but still live. So that's going to be pretty cool. Looking forward to that.
Oh, that'll be awesome.
Yeah, that's going to be cool.
So, back in high school, how did you enjoy spending your time? What kind of activities did you do?
Well, I was in student council I guess my senior year. The first year I did that, just kind of on a whim, just to see what, because sort of the political stuff in my head was starting to brew. Um, but I was an athlete. I was a wrestler and a gymnast, and
Yeah.
that kind of carried me through all the way through. And pretty much my friend group was within that within that group because as you know, like everybody played sports, all kind of hung together with the people they did it with. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what I did, and I'm trying to think what else. That's pretty much it. And
Yeah.
it was all about the sports back then.
Yeah. So, question for you. So, I found out, I guess I talked to Rob Thurston. He was on the swim team. He told me what an amazing swim team we had. And then listening about our basketball team, and I played on the tennis team. So, I know we had good teams. And then talking with Betty Jane Zeller and Barb Stewart and Celine, we had a amazing field hockey and all that. How were how was our gymnastics? How was our gymnastics program, and how was our wrestling programs?
So gymnastics team was coached by a guy named Lou Frank.
Yeah.
Remember, he was a gym teacher,
Yep.
super guy. I wish I could see him again. He was actually a really, really wonderful person and like a real great mentor as a human being, just a
Yeah.
terrific person. Um, our team was very okay. We had and I was less than okay.
Okay.
I was on the team to stay in shape for wrestling, really, because it was a good body weight sport. And if you know anything about wrestling, you can't gain weight. In fact, you have to lose weight.
Yeah.
And so it was a good sport, and I kind of liked it. I liked it, like kind of, and the guys on the team were nice guys. But we had one kid. His name was Jim Jones. Do you remember?
Yes, I remember Jim. He was in our
Okay,
class. Yeah.
it's in our class, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He was the star. He was actually a gymnast. That guy.
Yeah.
He was really good, and I don't know how he ended up states wise, but he was really the only guy who was really a gymnast on the team.
Yeah.
With apologies to everybody else who's watching this, he was really good. We had
Yeah.
another kid named Mark Cordelia, who was a year or two younger than us, who became a very good gymnast and went to Princeton,
Oh
uh,
wow.
based on that his ability. He's a smart kid too. He's a doctor now.
Yeah.
But the team was okay.
Okay. All right.
A wrestling team was pretty good. We were South Jersey North champions as
Okay.
seniors. I got the plaque still upstairs in my office.
Nice, nice.
Um, and bunch of interesting characters on it, and just people. I started wrestling in 7th grade, so like a lot of
Okay.
these kids. Pat McCormick, I don't know if you know
Yeah,
him. He
yeah,
passed
yeah,
away.
yeah.
He was just he was unbelievably good, just a great athlete in so many different. I think he played baseball, football, and wrestling. I mean, he used to smoke cigarettes before going out on the wrestling mat, and like he was just a complete maniac, but unbelievable. But the best natural athlete I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And he ended up going to college on I think it was on a football scholarship.
Okay.
But the rest of the guys, I mean, we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Our coach was a guy named John Seymour,
Yeah.
who was also, I think, a gym teacher as well.
Okay.
He's still around. He's coaching for West now,
Oh, wow.
which is not great, but
Yeah.
what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
It's 40 years ago, but he's
Yeah.
great, actually.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
he's
amazing.
watching John come back.
So, did you have a job in high school?
I had jobs in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I worked. I was a summer camp counselor
Oh,
out in the New York, upstate New York, in
oh,
the
nice.
Catskills. I also worked at a truck stop. If you remember, there was a 7-Eleven right next to the water tower
Yeah.
on Crescent Road.
Yeah.
Remember that? Do you know?
Yeah.
That 7-Elevens, like it was before cell phones, where everybody went to find out where the parties were. Like that was like the hub of information. That 7-Eleven, if you remember,
Yeah.
back in the day. There's a road behind it, and if you keep going back there used to be a vexatious tennis club,
Okay.
and now it's like an indoor soccer club
Oh,
back
okay.
there. Kids used to play there. If you kept going further back there, it was the back entrance to a truck stop on the Jersey Turnpike.
Oh, okay.
And a girl in our class, her first name was Jennifer. Can't remember her last name now.
We had Jennifer Wooden.
Jennifer Wooden.
Mm.
So she's little, right? She's
Yeah,
short.
she's not. Yeah.
Is she still around?
I don't stay in touch with her, but yes, I don't know.
Yeah, so that's a name I haven't heard in so long. But anyway, she was like dating one of my friends, and she helped me get the job at this truck. She was a waitress there, and I was a dishwasher, and it was the worst job in history. I used to have the night shift, and they would bring convicts from the state prison
Oh,
down
wow.
in shackles
Uh,
to work alongside with the Jewish kid from Cherry Hill, and that was it was a real education for me, but it ended up being interesting. Yeah, they got
Character building.
character building, right? Exactly. But that was my summer. I'm trying to think if there was anything else. Not in high school. It was summer camp, and then
With
working
the inmates. Yeah.
with the
So where did you go after graduation?
You mean like directly after graduation or
Yeah.
college?
So, well, you can answer. So I don't know if you listen to Eddie Denkin answered where he went to dinner when I asked him, where'd you go after graduation? But mostly I was wondering, your college, where'd you go to school and law school? And
I went to a school called Dickinson College.
yeah.
Small liberal arts college out in Carlisle. A couple of guys we graduated with went there also. Alan Cooper. Have you gotten a
Yeah.
hold of him? Has he done this?
I have not. I don't know. I'll have to. Do you know if he's on Facebook? Because that's kind of how I've been doing this if I haven't stayed in touch with people.
I assume all of us are on Facebook. Aren't we like the
No, that's
demos
not the
for this?
case.
No,
No.
we're not on TikTok. I know that.
Uh,
He's an orthopedic surgeon in Pennsylvania.
oh, wow. Okay.
See him around the different things, and sort of friendly with some people I'm friendly with. He's a really neat guy. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else from our class who went there also. But it's a small school. It's like 1,600 kids.
Yeah. Smaller than high school.
Small, much smaller than our high school.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible. But I was there for 4 years, and then I went to law school. Went to Rutgers
Okay.
here in Camden. And
All
I
right.
became a lawyer, and
And what
You know,
kind of law do you practice, or are you retired?
no, I'm not retired. I still have a kid in college.
Yeah.
I've got 2 more years to get the kid out of Tulane, and then if he goes to graduate school, we have to have that conversation. So, but we got our first three out, and this one, but he's the one he's in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Parents' weekends are the best. I don't know if anybody else has kids who are headed towards God, send them to Tulane, New Orleans. Parents' week. My first one went to Rutgers, and Rutgers is a nice school, but Parents' weekend was just, you went up there, you went to see them lose in the football game, and then it was, you were walking around New Brunswick. The second one went to Temple, which was no better than that. And the other one went to Bucknell, which is in the middle of nowhere in
Right.
Lewis. And there's 2 bars in the entire town, and forget it. New Orleans is where it's at.
Well, okay.
A lot of fun.
So you're still practicing lawyer? Do you have a
Yes, I have a firm. It's in Pennsauken. It's called Petrillo and Goldberg. We've been together since '92,
well,
30 some years. And my oldest son, Robert, just joined the firm. And
so now it's going to be Petrillo, Goldberg, and Son.
there's actually 2 younger Petrillos with us also.
Oh, okay.
The name could get very difficult.
Very long.
If we did that, we're just going to stick with where we're at. But yeah, no, there's 3 Petrillos, 2 Goldbergs, and 3 others. So
Okay.
we're we're trying to hang in there with the name. But
Yeah.
we're litigators. It's a trial firm, and it's still fun. So I'm still doing it.
Oh, that's great. That's great. That's great to hear.
No
That's great.
retirement quite yet.
Not quite yet. Okay. So was there a class or a teacher at East that influenced you beyond your high school days?
Hmm. I had a class in Shakespearean tragedies that I just loved.
Really?
I'm trying to remember the teacher's name. It was a doctor somebody. He was a tall guy. And I'm not an actor. I'm not like into any, I'm not even a literature guy.
Yeah.
But something about that class just grabbed me. And he actually and I think it surprised. I asked him to write my college recommendations. I think it surprised him because I just wasn't that kind of person. Dr. Dwyer, does that sound
That
right?
sounds about right. Yeah, could be.
Tall older guy, I think. But the way he just presented everything, it kind of brought it to life, and
That's great.
it's kind of stuck with me. But that it was him. I think
Oh,
it was.
that's cool.
Hopefully,
What's that?
I said I think it was Dwyer. Hopefully,
Dwyer. Yeah. So did you have a high school sweetheart?
I dated a couple girls through high school. You mentioned Betty Jane Zellers.
Okay.
I dated Betty Jane Zellers in high school for a bit. And there were some underclass women also that I dated as well. But I met my wife the first day of orientation, freshman year of college.
Oh, that's so nice.
Pretty much over at that point.
Oh, that's a great story.
So yeah. So it was really that's been 40 some years doing it.
Wow, that's amazing.
Pretty incredible, yeah.
Yeah. And so you say you do have some friends at East you're still in touch with?
Yeah, mostly Steve Kramer. He's like my buddy from growing up. This guy Dave Ladd, who I was talking about before, but Dave's kind of sick right now, so he's got, that thing that Bruce Willis has,
the neurodegenerative with speech aphasia,
frontal temporal disorder.
Okay.
Fortunately, David has that. So he's hanging in there. Though we go see him, and but yeah, so he's one of we've been kind of the 3 of us kind of hang out. This guy Gary also every now and then, but
yeah,
but that's that's life.
Yeah,
it's the way
it is.
It is.
Anybody from East that you were friends with that maybe you lost touch with?
Yeah, well, that guy Gary Kennick, he's sort of to a different area that I lost touch with. Steve stays more in touch with him. trying to think who else. I mean, the guys from the team pretty much, everybody sort of disbanded. Are we going to have a reunion? Because I would
Yeah. I
love.
think Alan Feldman is on it. He has plans, and I think he's trying to squeeze it in next, like, so it doesn't impact kids graduating next spring, and doesn't get in the way of Easter. So I think he's gonna do it next spring in 2025 is the plan.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
He's actually a cousin of mine.
Is he really?
Yes, it's through some strange connection. I've been to family reunions that he was. It's been a while, but yeah, he's on my mother's side. He's a cousin of mine.
Oh,
So
that's
Alan,
funny.
you're watching this. Hello,
Yeah.
is he in the area?
Yeah, no, he stayed in Cherry Hill.
Oh, he's staying in Cherry Hill.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, I did his a few months ago. And yeah, he coordinates our class page, and he's gonna I think he's gonna take the lead on our reunion.
Oh,
So
is that right?
yeah.
Have you put up with Kurt Gilson yet?
We have somebody Googled, I don't know, was able to find him. He's not on Facebook, but found him. I can't remember where they said he was, but somehow through LinkedIn or something they found him. But no one's been able to get in touch with him yet. So that's would love to hear from Kurt.
Well, he,
Um,
he was another guy who I was friends with. Now that you mentioned somebody you just yeah, I used to spend a lot of time with him. He had a place down in his parents had a place down in Brigantine. I remember
okay,
going spending the weekends down there with him years ago. He was a good dude.
yeah,
He was also a wrestler.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
right. It
yeah.
was he also in class government, right?
He was. I think yeah, he was in class government, and he ran cross country.
Yeah,
A
yeah,
brilliant kid.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I remember I went to a couple parties with him with kids like of his intelligence, and I just remember like not even understanding anything that they were talking about because they were just speaking at different levels. But yeah, he was a good dude. If you could track him down, I'd love to see him as well.
yeah.
I think he's the one who put together our 25th. I want
Did
to say,
he?
were you at that?
I
Because
was not at the 25th. I was
I
not at the
remember
25th.
I remember talking to him before that, and him saying, you gotta come." I came, and I think he couldn't make it. So
Ah, okay.
hopefully he makes it to this one.
Yeah, yeah, that would be great. Um, so do you have do you have a standout memory from high school? An experience that you had that was really memorable with a friend in class, outside of class?
Remember Mark Green?
Yeah, I remember that name. Yeah.
So, so Mark and I and Alan Cooper
Oh, yeah.
were, were in Mrs. Rubenstein's class. She used to teach English.
Yeah.
Mrs. Rubenstein grew up with my mother.
Oh,
They were
wow.
they were like best friends. They went to Moorestown High School together. I don't even know if she's still alive, but but so senior year, I took her class because I knew she would treat me okay because she's one of my mom's best friends. So I went there, and I was probably not the best student that she ever had, and we were all second semester seniors, so we got into our colleges already, so
Yeah.
we didn't care about anything at that time. So
Yeah.
Alan Cooper used to come into class wearing this button-down shirt that me and Mark Green used to make fun of, and that just led Alan to wear it day after day after day, not caring that he was wearing the same shirt over and over. So Mark and I decided that we would show him. So on the count of three, we turned it around. I grabbed the pocket, he grabbed the side of the shirt, and we just ripped it. And Alan was sitting there with literally half a shirt open, and the buttons were all popped off. And Mrs. Rubenstein turned around, and she looked at us, and I know she wanted to scream at us, but she couldn't scream at me because my mom and his friends. She said, "Outside." And she's like, "What are you doing?" And went through the whole thing with me. Let us go back in. Alan Cooper came back the next day with the same shirt on, duct taped together. And God help us, That was nothing great about that story other than that just sticks out in my head because
That's a great story, though. I remember Alan having a very good sense of humor.
he did have a sense. He was another smart kid.
Yeah.
He's a doctor.
Yeah.
He's doing well.
That's great. That's great. So is there anything that you wish classmates knew about you back then or now?
My my wife said that I grew. And I'm not sure what she means by that, but it probably is referring to the fact that when we graduated, you may not remember this, we graduated in height order.
Did we really?
We did. And I was third in line. And first guy in line was Wayne Grimm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Second guy was a
Wasn't he
guy
a jockey?
he was a jockey.
Yeah.
Um, Second guy, I believe, was Jeff Blum, and then me. And we had a class of
800.
1,800 people.
Yeah.
So I was little. I mean, not that it really affected my life, but that's one of those memories that kind of stick in your head
Yeah.
too, right?
I didn't realize we were in height order. Oh my goodness. Okay. That's funny.
Yeah.
Have you been back in the building since we graduated? And if so,
Uh,
why, when, what did you think?
so yes is the answer. I went back. Well, I went back early on, like right after. It's kind of like a thing for wrestlers. When you graduate, you go back and sort of work out when you're on your Christmas break. You work out with the team just so that you give them extra different bodies to wrestle with. I did that for a couple of years, but when I turned 40 and my friend Steve turned 40, we both did videos, like a This Is Your Life video of each other, for the parties, for the 40th parties that our
Yeah.
wives threw for us.
Nice.
And I did ours, me and this guy, Gary and David, did ours on the lawn of our school. We brought lawn chairs and we interviewed some teachers. We interviewed different people we graduated high school with, and that was the last time I was there.
Oh,
But
that's very cool.
that was actually kind of cool. Yeah, and it turned out really well because it was it was just making fun of him but it was just neat to be back there and so
Yeah.
back
Oh,
there.
wow. That's very creative. Impressive.
Yeah.
So we're back in 1980. You're looking out 40 odd years. Is this where you saw yourself?
Uh, you know what? I'm pretty happy where I landed. I can't really, I really can't complain. If you asked me in second grade what I was going to be doing for a living, I would have said a lawyer.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, oh yeah. If I there was I question a lot of things in my life. That's one thing I never questioned. I always wanted to be a lawyer. When I was going to college, it was so I can go to law school. When I was going to law school, it wasn't like I was going to go into something else. I was going to become a lawyer. That was always where I was headed. But great marriage, great kids. What else can you want, right?
Yeah. That's wonderful.
Stay healthy. What else can you want?
Did you enjoy high school?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. It was a great time. I really I felt we went to a great school, and the people, by and large were pretty supportive. There were different groups, but but everybody seemed, to kind of be looking in the same direction, in the end. And
Yeah.
it wasn't like it wasn't a tie, I raised my family here in Haddonfield, and there were years where there were very toxic classes and people, parts of the class didn't like the other. It's a smaller school, but I didn't find that in our school. I found everybody was pretty much kind of moving in the same direction, and kind of even the jocks and the smart kids and the music kids and everybody seemed to kind of get each other.
Yeah. Everybody had their people, so it was big enough that you could find your people, I think.
Yeah,
So,
no, right. Yeah, you could find your group, but amongst the groups, I didn't
yeah.
see, you didn't
There
see
wasn't a
that.
lot of infighting. Yeah. No.
You didn't see the friction. That's good.
Yeah.
What do we need more at that age than peace?
Yeah.
There's so many other things going on.
Sure.
Should be
Sure.
peace at home.
So, best piece of advice you would give your 18-year-old self, or maybe you gave your 18-year-old kids.
Don't worry so much. That's my best advice.
Yeah.
It's all gonna be okay. You know, my and that is the advice I hope I imparted to my kids. You know, because you know, at that age, you know, you think you're wearing the wrong shirt. It's, you know, it's social suicide. You know,
Yeah.
you look at somebody the wrong way. You know, they're gonna hate me, or, you know, she's not gonna like,
Yeah.
you know, that's the lesson, you know, 62 years has taught me. You know,
Yeah.
don't worry so much.
Yeah.
Usually things work out.
Yeah. For sure. All right. So I call this the fast and furious finish.
Uh-oh.
So did you have a favorite TV show or book or movie that you enjoyed back in high school that you could remember?
Big Kurt Vonnegut fan. So Breakfast of Champions, probably the my favorite. Um, Movie, it's embarrassing to say, but there's a movie called The Warriors,
Hmm.
which I liked, which was kind of a dark thing. Did you ever see it?
I don't recall it. No. Yeah.
It's it's about the gangs of New York City.
Oh, okay.
Just what was the other one?
Oh,
It's
if you had a favorite TV show.
back then. I don't think I watched a lot of TV back then. I don't. That's. I mean, when I was younger, I was a big Brady
Yeah.
Bunch and Partridge Family, and like every. But that was probably fifth or
Well,
sixth grade, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, your favorite musical group, I guess, Rolling Stones plays a
Rolling Stones.
role. Yeah.
Rolling Stones, and Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, and I got to
Not
see
not
Yes recently.
not Heaven's Edge, not Reggie's band.
They're the third. They're my
They're the
third favorite.
third. Okay. Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Wait,
That
I
makes
have never
sense.
seen them in concert. Before I
Yeah.
go, I have to see them in concert.
Yeah. Yeah. So did you have a favorite place to eat or hang out with friends? Was it the 7-Eleven up there by the water tower? Or were
If
you a
it was,
big
I certainly wouldn't admit it.
yeah.
Uh, what's the place on not Evesham, place that they used to serve underage people?
Oh,
Um,
not the coastline.
the coastline.
The coastline.
No, down the street from the coastline.
Oh, okay.
Um, you know, with the
Oh, Kaminsky's.
Kaminsky's. Yeah,
Okay.
I still go there actually.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was a fun place. And there was a place called Shepherd's Pub, which
Okay.
was on the further. There's that whole area right
Stretch
there.
right there.
Really
Yeah.
good for underage drinking. Although back then at 18 we were legal, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The good old days, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the place where I used to go.
Okay. So here we go. Did you like your photo? And your quote was, if you're in the store, buy something.
Yeah. Do I like the photo? It's fine. I can't believe my mother allowed me to have my hair parted in the middle. But she did, and I changed it. Actually, my wife now, when she was my girlfriend, made me get the side part because she's like, "You're not David Cassidy." But the quote, my brother had that from his graduating picture, and my sister also had that. It just became a family thing. So the quote is nonsense.
Yeah.
So it means nothing. There's no hidden meaning. If you're searching for it,
No,
look elsewhere.
that's funny. It's just a family joke.
It's just a family joke, and
That's great.
there's no significance to it whatsoever.
All right. So, next to last question is, what language did you take at East, and have you ever found it useful?
I took French, and then I took it in college also. I was barely able to say anything. And the interesting story, my wife's family is they're all, you know, multilingual polyglots, is that what you call it?
Yeah.
So when I first met her grandparents were visiting from Israel. Her grandparents grew up in Poland, moved to Italy for medical school. The Nazis kicked them out of Italy. They moved to Palestine,
Yeah.
So at that point, they were speaking 4 languages, and then they learned English because their family was in America. And so when I came to meet them at my wife's house, the grandparents were speaking Polish to each other, Italian to my mother-in-law, Hebrew to my wife, English to my brother-in-law. He was just not my brother at the time. So my wife tells her grandmother, "Oh, he speaks French." She starts speaking, and I don't speak French. I didn't at that time, and I never did. And she started speaking French. That was the only language. She spoke like 7 languages. That was the only language she ever studied in school.
Oh,
And of
wow.
course, she spoke it like a Parisian. And after about a minute of fumbling through, all that stuff, it didn't work out. So that was really the only time I got to flex it, and it didn't flex very well.
That's a
What
good
was your last
story.
question? Yeah,
So my last question is, anything you want to tell someone or everyone from our class who might be listening?
No, I hope everybody goes to the reunion. I hope I can go to the reunion because I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, yeah, it will. Well, Scott, I can't thank you enough for jumping in and helping me out and sitting in the chair and
My
being on the
pleasure.
podcast tonight.
No, my pleasure. It was fun. When's it gonna play?
Um, I will give you a text, but it's going to be a couple weeks. So,
Okay.
yeah,
No problem.
yeah. No,
Very
I
good.
really
It was
appreciate it.
nice to see you, and
Yeah.
good luck with everything else.
All right. Thanks.
Take
I'll
care.
see you next spring.
Sounds good. Take care. See you, class.
Take care. Thanks for joining me on It's Been How Long? The podcast about Cherry Hill High School East students from the late 1970s and the early 80s. A shout out to my cousin Brad Corbett, whose podcast We Weren't Friends in High School inspired me to do this podcast and whose advice and encouragement have been so helpful. Thanks also to my husband, Randy Cockdale, who read all the fine print on the podcast hosting website so I wouldn't have to. And thanks to Jeff Lyons, content consultant and guinea pig, and to Deborah Smead, also content consultant. And thank you to all our classmates who are listening in. See you next week.